Hello! Finally, I am back. And well, I'm already scared of saying I'm back because every time I say this and then I'm gone for a few months and then I'm not uploading any videos and everything. So I hope that I'm back, fingers crossed. And so this, I really wanted to kind of go back to making videos for you and for myself because I feel like this is a different format and it's really fun to have longer conversations with you on writing, either my writing or your writings, which is very cool and very interesting to me. And hopefully to you guys as well, but because of different reasons I couldn't be back. First of all, it was like I couldn't manage to do it. I kind of didn't have the motivation and the time to do it, and then later on it was like the political situation in the country and everything. Because of that, I didn't have kind of the motivation and the ideas to do it, and I was not in the right mood, and I didn't want to come up here and be like, hey everybody, today blah blah blah, because I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of negativity in the world and I should be one of the people who stays positive. So whenever I'm not in this positive mood and stuff, I just disappear and then come back when I'm in the right mood. So that being said, I haven't done this for a very long time, which is when I'm asking you guys to continue the line that I gave you. And then I was really happy about that, about like being able to do this again, because I really like it and I like commenting and discussing it with you. So today again, I gave you a line a few days ago, which was, life would be so much better if, because I've been having okay, let me give you a little bit of the context and then we can go ahead and start discussing your versions. It's been a few days since I've been having those like philosophical and rhetorical questions, and also like philosophical thoughts when I'm like, okay, so there are lots of wars happening right now. So let me put it this way. And then every time something like that happens, I keep going back to having those like philosophical thoughts of like, wouldn't it be amazing if there was peace everywhere? Wouldn't it be amazing if people appreciated each other's lives more? Or I don't know, if power was used like wisely and kindly instead of using it on people and on making them suffer and struggle and all of those things. And one day, like after having those thoughts, I was like, okay, so it would be great to hear from you guys what you think would make life so much better and so much more interesting and great. And that's why I decided to give you kind of this question, but at the same time like prompt for you to continue. And now let's see what you guys wanted. So life would be so much better when you ignore all the dramas and just live those happy moments. That's true. Sometimes it's really hard to do. I really like this because it is very true, but at the same time, I know that it's hard to do. Some things are easier said than done, and this is one of those things. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm gonna ignore all of those bad things. I'm gonna ignore all the drama going on around me or inside of, like, in my life. And then you're like, no, I'm gonna just enjoy happy moments. And then sometimes you understand that it's really hard to control all of your emotions and all of your emotional reactions to the things that are happening around you. So yeah, it would be so much better if we could just control it and focus on the good and the happy moments instead. Because like, not wasting energy on the bad things and just gathering that energy as well and then using it on the happy moments, that would be amazing. Life would be so much better if people don't ruin hearts. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. I think it's self-explanatory, and it shows how much you appreciate people's hearts and emotions and their kind of inner world. And yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think is, sadly enough, that possible. I mean, on a personal level, you can start doing it by yourself. I try to do that a lot, and when saying like ruining hearts, it like instantly one of the things that I think of when you're actually, I think, very close to ruining somebody's heart is rejecting them and their feelings. And whenever I do that, I'm trying to be very sensitive and very soft, and as soft as possible, I would say. But sometimes it just doesn't really stop kind of that person from hurting and from having a broken heart. So it is a hard thing to do, but I wish everybody thought about that when talking or when acting in a certain way, because if everybody had that in their mind of like, oh, I don't want to break their heart, I don't want to make them suffer, I don't want to ruin their heart, that would be so much more pleasant to live, you know? Okay, life would be so much better if I learned in the past what I learned now. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, for sure. There are so many things that I'm like, I wish I knew this sooner. I wish I knew this earlier, because I would have acted in a different way. I've had those thoughts a lot, and sometimes even right now I'm having those moments where I'm like, I wish I knew this sooner. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like those moments when, let's say, we didn't know something and then we acted in a certain way, it brought to a moment where of learning, a moment of understanding, a moment of just personality development. And that's why right now, when those moments are happening, when I'm having those thoughts, I'm like, oh, I wish I knew this earlier. I'm like, no, don't think like that, because there was a reason why you didn't know it back then. There was a reason why you didn't kind of have it in you back then and stuff like that. Because I feel like for everything there must be at least one reason, and I hope there is, but that's what I'm used to thinking right now. And if I didn't know that in the past, then I guess I had to go through that to be able to learn and become the person that I am today. I don't know. Life would be so much better if she didn't leave. Oh my God, this is so heartbreaking. I'm sorry, whoever that is. I'm so sorry that she left. And I don't know. I think I would just say two things in this case. One, if it's the right person, I don't know who that person is, but if it's the right person for you, then I'm sure they'll come back. And if they don't, that's the second thing. I guess you should let them go, and I guess maybe you'll find somebody even better. Crossing fingers for you to find somebody much, much better. Life would be so much better if your heart is never broken, like your heart never got broken. Yeah, from the emotional point of view, yes, because when your heart gets broken, it's really tough, it's really hard, and sometimes at moments you feel like it's impossible to get through those moments. However, I think again, today I'm like in a teacher professor mode, but no, actually, just joking. But however, I think that broken hearts teach us a lot. I'm trying to have this mentality of when there are things that are hurting me, or when there are negative things or negative people, I'm trying to look at them as lessons. I know it's really hard, and I keep kind of focusing my attention on that, but it's the same with heartbreaks. Heartbreaks make you understand a lot of things about yourself, about the person, about the things that hurt you, about the things that you okay, so it kind of makes you understand what's the level of difficulties that you can pass through. And sometimes, because heartbreaks are not easy, especially when you're an emotional person, it really, really hits you in the feelings, like right in the center. And then, and it hurts you deeply. So I feel like heartbreaks, I am not fond of them. And to be honest, I would never want to go through a heartbreak again. But I guess even if I have to go through heartbreak in my life again, I would try to look at it as a lesson again, because apparently there was a lesson that I had to go through, and that was meant for me that I didn't go through just yet. Because heartbreaks, again, so I've had a heartbreak, and it kind of turned, it kind of, I think it makes you a really, really strong person. It turns you into a very, very strong person. And by saying heartbreak, personally, I don't mean like only the heartbreak that you experience in romantic relationships, but also heartbreak that you can experience in by losing somebody that you love, or by having something, a wrong situation at work, or in other types of relationships, just human relationships. So I think that they are a very, very strong learning point, and they kind of, I think that sometimes they can empower you in a way that nothing else can. Yes, for a moment, for a period of time, you are hurting, you are in a very sad and down emotional situation, but after that, I feel like the kind of strive that you're having, and like the way that you instantly just kind of like a phoenix rise from the ashes is just incredible. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if there's a possibility of not having a heartbreak, why not? That would have been amazing. Okay, life would be, sorry, yeah. Life would be so much better if everybody would treat one another with empathy and kindness. Amen. Oh my God, this is, I keep having this thought every single time, and I would even say probably every single day. Like, why would you not treat somebody with empathy and kindness? And it's not like, oh yeah, somebody's hurting me and I am being kind to them, which again could be a correct decision in some cases. But the problem with me is that well, not with me, but for me, I meant the problem for me is that sometimes you're like, if every single person thinks of treating the other person with empathy and kindness, we would have such an amazing world. And I mean, I know that this is not like completely possible and stuff, but like most of the times, if you keep that thought in mind, and if you are treating people with kindness and empathy, it would be just the perfect world, trust me. Like the closest to perfection that is possible. And yesterday, so I was feeling very, very happy. And one of the biggest reasons why is that I've had so many warm and cute and sweet interactions. And it's not only about my family, like I am close to my family and we have beautiful relationships inside of our family. But this was outside, like in the outside world. Yes, again, one of them was my best friend. And the other ones were, I don't know, just people that I was meeting, like, I don't know, in a shop or at the streets, and I don't know, in a coffee house. And for me, having that realization that I've had so many beautiful interactions with people that I've never met before, or with the people that I have limited communication with. Let's say I'm going to the same place and buying coffee, and that person is very, very sweet to me. To me, that realization that I've had so many beautiful interactions and everybody was so sweet to me yesterday, I felt like I was like flying in the clouds, and I was just happily dancing all the time, because I was like, okay, but this is like the smallest thing that you need to feel happy is just really getting that beautiful and that kind treatment from others. Sorry, I just went really deep in those topics. It's just my favorite topic. Thank you, Steve, for writing this, because I fully agree with you on that. Life would be so much better if we had control over our mind and our hearts. Yeah, I guess so. It would be, I'm not sure if it would be better, but it would be so much easier. So much easier. It's like, I don't know. Again, it's a very interesting thing to say, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could control my thoughts. I wish I could control my heart, because there are some scenarios, right, when the heart beats for the person that is a wrong one, or when you really, I don't know, a simple thing, when you really want to sleep but your thoughts are just flying around all the time and you cannot turn them off to be able to sleep. So all of those small and big issues that come with it. Yeah, I think it would be easier, but I'm not sure if it would be more interesting, because right now you're like, oh, yeah, I wish I could control myself, and then you can't control yourself, and then it turns into something interesting and unexpected. So today, I don't know, I'm trying to find the positive in every single thing. I don't know what's happening. I don't know, I guess it's the weekend mood and everything. Life would be so much better if we had counseling on the proper choice of high school study. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Like I would like either like counseling or therapy, or just like, I don't know, psychological sessions, because we've had a few of them at school, but they were not as good. They were just bringing some psychological tests that we should complete, and then after that we wouldn't get any type of like follow-up. It was just left to your own kind of decision if you want to go, or if you want to approach a specialist, then sure, go ahead and do that. But it would be great. Absolutely agree. Life would be so much better. Sorry. Yeah, life would be so much better if we could spend a day or two as someone we cared about to truly understand them. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, that would be amazing. I wonder if that would not be considered as like intruding somebody's privacy. I really wonder if that could be considered that, because like sometimes even if you care about somebody, there might be feelings that, okay, so as much as I am somebody who expresses her thoughts and feelings really freely and openly with the people that I love, but there are always some thoughts or some feelings that I never share with anybody. And I wonder if I would want somebody to see that or to feel that by being me. I don't know. But that's a very interesting thing. I would love to do that, but I don't know if I would want somebody to kind of be in me and feel that. That's something interesting to think about. That's a food for thought. I love that. Life would be so much better if I was good in studies or could do some to make my parents proud. Oh, listen. Okay, so I think this is a very deep statement, and I love it, and it's very beautiful. Making parents proud is a totally different topic that I could talk about for hours and hours, and trust me, I would, because yeah, there was a line that I wrote in my notes that I didn't post just yet, which was about the fact that that sometimes I don't really think about making myself proud, but I think of making my parents, my family proud, which is such an interesting topic to think about. But I don't know, I hope you can first of all tell them, I think you can voice that you really try hard to make them feel proud, because sometimes you feel like you're struggling, and sometimes everybody has their own world and everybody has their own lives, and I'm not saying this in a bad manner, but sometimes they might not notice that you're struggling as much to make them proud. So just voice it. Tell them that you are trying very hard to make them feel proud. And I think that's a very, very important point, because when you say it, I think even just listening to that idea, they would feel proud of you, because I don't know, that's just very, very beautiful that you do that. And also being good in studies, to be honest, yes, being good in studies and being able to get all of those good grades and stuff, everything is great. And yeah, it's just a common thing to kind of have in the world, that you have to be good at your studies. But good grades doesn't always mean that you have a huge amount of knowledge, and vice versa, right? And sometimes, yes, it coincides, and like you have good grades and then you have amazing amount of knowledge in many different spheres. But getting grades depends on a lot of things, on your ability to articulate your thoughts, on your ability to take tests, on your ability to, I don't know, show what you know. And sometimes people are having difficulties with that, instead of having, it's not like they don't have the answers, because they do. It's just that sometimes they get nervous during the tests and then they fail those tests, but it doesn't mean that they didn't study. It doesn't mean that they didn't know all the content. Sometimes they know what they want to say, but it's hard for them to put it into words and stuff like this. So there are a lot of different factors that contribute to the grades. When I was at school and later in the university, it kind of got a little weaker, but I was obsessed with getting high grades. And for example, my grandfather always put high expectations, and if your grade was high but it was not the highest, he was like, why was it not the highest? And lots of other things. So I always had this in mind that I had to get the highest grade to be able to kind of feel good about myself. And so that, even like my grandfather, who I love a lot and who is one of the people that I look up to, always feels proud of me. But that's not only that. Now that I'm older and now that I've gone through lots of things, I see that lots of people who are getting high grades apparently don't really, sometimes it's not for everybody, but sometimes there are cases when people are just good at taking tests and they're getting higher grades, but apparently they don't really have that practical knowledge to be able to put it into work later on or put it into projects and make it a reality and stuff. So what I'm trying to say here is just be a hardworking person. Really, really work hard on the things that you think that you should work on. Don't get disappointed by it. Don't give up on those things. If you feel like you're not good at something, work on it more. Just objectively identify the things that you're not good at and just work on them. In the past, I would just get really disappointed by the things that I'm not good at, and I would be like, I'm bad at this. Why am I not smart? Why am I not, I don't know, this or that? And then I was like, okay, this is not a mentality we should go through, and we should not just adapt it all the time, because it makes you feel really bad every single time about, like, you feel bad about yourself and you don't want to work anymore because you don't think you're smart or anything. Just identify the things that you're not good at, and now that's the thing that I'm doing. I think that I'm not good at finances. I start working on finances. I think that I'm not good at biology. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna work on that. And also just remember that it's impossible to be good at everything. It's a hard thing to understand because I'm still having a hard time like setting those expectations for myself, but it's hard to be good at everything. And I'm sorry for just a long conversation, but just motivate yourself and try to work on those things and tell them that you want to make them feel proud, and tell them that you're gonna work all the time. You're gonna work so much that you feel proud of yourself and that they feel proud of yourself. Ooh, proud of you. Yeah. So sorry, it was too long. Life would be so much better if I wouldn't have told you my feelings. Oh, okay, so this is sad. Yeah, well, I mean, telling about the feelings can be tricky, because if that person feels the same way, then it becomes the most beautiful thing ever and start of the beautiful story. But if they don't reciprocate your feelings, then it gets kind of tricky and complicated. And yeah, I get it. And I think that this could also relate to a non-romantic relationship as well. Sometimes I thought of this situation where people are like, oh, no, please tell me how you actually feel about this thing that I've done or this thing that I've prepared or made or something. They're like, oh no, I'm okay with you being completely honest. And then when you share your honest opinion and your honest feelings, and then they get really sad about it, and then they're like, no, why would you not like this? Why would you say this? And then you're like, you told me to be honest, and now you're like blaming me for being honest. So a very beautiful continuation, actually. Life would be so much better if all people are like you. Aw, this is very sweet, thank you. But trust me, I am not the best person in the world. I mean, I'm trying very hard, and I'm very, very critical of myself. I'm trying very hard to become the best version of myself, and even not only myself, but just the best type of human that I imagine for myself. And that's why I'm always striving towards becoming that person. But thank you so much, that's very sweet. Life would be so much better if we knew to prioritize our happiness first. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's I agree with this. But at the same time, there's 2 points that I want to point out. First of all, our happiness is very, very important. However, it's not something that we can easily always kind of prioritize. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes people are like, oh, you should prioritize your happiness first, but it's an ongoing journey because it takes a lot of courage, a lot of thinking and learning to be able to do so. And the second point is that sometimes your happiness is not just your own happiness, like it depends on a lot of different factors. For example, one of the factors that my happiness depends on is the happiness of my family. If my family members are not happy, I won't be able to feel happy for sure. If I am happy in all the other criteria, but then my friends are not happy, they are facing, I don't know, just disappointment or challenges or difficulties in their lives, I won't be able to feel completely happy. So, but that's just a personal thing. So maybe it's different for everybody. Life would be so much better if relationships would not be like guests. Oh my God, yes. Yes and no. Again, yes, for the reason that sometimes you're like, is there any type of relationship in my life that is not like a guest? Is not like a guest, but it lasts for a very long time. But also sometimes some relationships are like guests and you're like, whew, that's such a good thing that this person kind of left my life, because you feel like they bring negativity, toxicity, and some hardships to your life. And you feel like, and it's not only just about that person, it's not like, oh, all of those people are wrong and bad. No, it's just about that, the fact that you are not compatible in any type of relationship. Yeah. Life would be so much better if I had some more time. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I catch myself thinking that I'm like, oh, I wish I had more time in a day. I wish I had more time in a week. I had more time in a month, blah, 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 blah. I have those thoughts and then I'm like, I guess time will never be enough for me, right? So I'm like, do I really need more time? Because I feel like I would be greedy and ask for more time every single time. But I do agree with you. I wish I had it. Life would be so much better if I don't overthink. Oh, don't get me started on this. Oh my God. Sometimes overthinking is like driving me crazy, the extent to which I am overthinking. I'm like, I am overthinking about overthinking. That's when I'm like, oh no. There comes a moment when I'm like, oh no, you should stop, or you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Like nothing happens, and then I keep overthinking about the things that I've done or the things that I've said, and then I keep overthinking about those things, and then how that person perceived those, and then blah 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 blah. And I don't know, it just drives me crazy sometimes, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like a little bit of overthinking is good, because sometimes I feel like it could be so much better if some people were overthinking a little bit. Like there are people who are just saying things and just, passing. And you're like, if you thought about it a little more, like that could be painful to somebody, or that could be perceived wrong or something like that, you wouldn't have said it and you wouldn't have created this hard situation. So a little bit of overthinking I think is good, but like overthinking all the time, which I do, is a constant struggle. Life would be so much better if you would have been with me when you would have comforted me. I wish that person was with you and that person comforted you when you needed them. That's so hard. I mean, I've had this feeling in the past when you need comfort by a specific person in that situation, and then they don't do that, and then you're like, it would be better if you did it, because then it stays with you, kind of. Life would be so much better if I met my favorite singers, especially Shane Fillon. I hope I read it correctly. Yeah, absolutely. I recently went to one of my favorite singers' concert, Bruno Mars, and that was amazing. And yeah, I agree. After having been to that concert, I'm like, yeah, life is so much better now that I've had those feelings, because those feelings were so hard to describe. It's just incredible. My life would be so much better if my wife and kids would come back. Oh, well, this broke my heart. I hope they do. I think it's never too late, and I really hope that you wait and you don't give up on that idea, and then eventually they come back. I really, really hope so. I'm sorry. And the last one, it's by Miriam. Life would be so much better if we could bring more love and understanding into the world. I opened the lid of my magical jar and put in a hug for a stranger, maybe even a smile for someone you meet on the street, a conversation with the unknown, and the question, what do you need today to be loved? And oh my God, first of all, I love Miriam so much because I think that we have similar thoughts and feelings all the time. And just like I was talking in this video, I was like, even having a conversation with somebody, with a stranger, and that stranger is very sweet to you, and then having, I don't know, just giving a hug to a stranger. I've always thought of that idea of like, it could be so great. There's a video series, or like one video, I'm not sure whether it's a series, but one video when there's a guy, he had his eyes closed and he has like a sign holding which says like, hug me, I need a hug, or something like that. And the reason why his eyes is closed is like, I'm not gonna see you, so you can do it, or you don't have to do it if you don't want to. And then people approach that person and then they hug him, like they are strangers, and they're actually giving him a hug just because he needs a hug. And that's a very, very sweet idea, and I wish people did that more. But anyway, I love this a lot. I wish there was more understanding and love in this life, because I feel like love in any, type of, in any way, like in any format, is very, very important. And I wish we could just replace it with all the bad things that, like, replace all the bad things that are happening with love, because I don't know, it's just, there's too much negativity and hate and discrimination and I don't know, all of that, where we could just be loving towards each other and understanding, because all of us are humans, all of us are going through similar difficult times and similar problems and everything, which, I don't know, brings us again to the topic of empathy. And I don't know, I loved it. I really, really loved reading all of these. And thank you so much for submitting all of this and for giving me the opportunity to kind of discuss them with you and go into deep topics. And when I gave you the idea of like the line to continue, and when I gave you the box, I thought you would be able to just write one line and stuff, which I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure all of them are going to write deep, beautiful things, but I didn't think that we would go into such deep philosophical life topics. And I'm very happy that we did, and I had a great time, even if it was just me talking and discussing and saying what I think, what I feel. I still feel like we had a beautiful communication and interaction, because it was like your pieces that I was discussing. And thank you so much. And I don't know, if you like my videos, if you like me doing things like that, please just comment or like, or just subscribe to my channel, and I'll do this more often. I'll try to keep my promise and do this more often, like even once a week, or I don't know, a few times a month. I'm not gonna set the expectations too high, but thank you so much for being with me, for being with my channel, with my account, and for taking part in the initiatives that I'm organizing. So thank you. I love you guys, and thank you for all the support and participation. I love you. Mwah.